Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. Behind the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
What it do, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It is your boy Pride, joined by Trey, Coach Dante, and Greg around the horn. Trey, how you feeling today, my guy?
I'm good, Pride. What's good with you, man? We missed you yesterday.
Yo, my son, he had to go get his shots because he just turned a year old. Yeah, him and I, we almost fought. This goes to real life fighting because I was trying to hold him down and keep him still.
He caught you with one?
Yo, I know. First of all, I did not realize kids were that flexible, right? Because I'm holding his arms, right, and I'm on top, and he looks at me, goes, bah! Kicks me in my forehead. I almost.
You always like this, my kid, like little kid. I fight little kids type situation.
Yo, I had to regain myself, and the worst part about it, the most disrespectful part, because I had to bring my daughter with me. She witnessed it, chuckled, and then when my son heard it, looked me in my eye. My son looked me in my eye and laughed. So at that moment, I knew when this kid grows up, him and I, we gonna have to tussle. Coach, how you feeling this morning?
You gotta catch a fade.
I'm feeling good, man. Happy to be back up here with you. Great group of guys, man.
Yes, sir. Greg, I know you feeling phenomenal because the Chiefs already had a great performance against the Raiders. So go ahead, Greg. Tell us how phenomenal your day has been.
Oh, it's been awesome, man. It's been awesome. Good to be here with you guys again on this fine morning. And I can't wait till Thursday. Biggest game of the year this Thursday.
Be careful what you wish for.
Talk it. But before we get, we're not going to delve into that. Not yet, anyway, because honestly, if we were to do that.
Some time, yeah.
Yeah, Greg is going to literally go the whole 2 hours on how the Chiefs are going to mollywop the Chargers. Before we get there, so at this point, the NFL has had a massive spike when it comes to the whole COVID thing. It's to the point where now there's kind of some rumblings around where they genuinely believe the league is going to have to make something happen. They're either going to have to, ban the fans again, or they're going to have to do what the NBA is doing and have like a vaccine thing. Trey, let me just ask you the hard-hitting question. Do you think the NFL could potentially shut down if the whole COVID thing doesn't get handled again?
So I don't particularly think they're going to shut down, but I think it will be a situation in which now you go back to no fans in there for the sake of safety, not necessarily to protect the players, but to protect the fans, because in this last spike, like at this current point, it's 37 cases and positive cases of COVID. Of course, when you got the stronger strands, the Omicron, the Deltas, and all this type that's out there, and people are starting to get a little lackadaisical in what they do, or because they're glad they feel they're vaccinated and they feel like, okay, I can't be touched, saying I'm Teflon. And then we had this situation. So I don't foresee a complete shutdown of the NFL. I think it will go back to what they had last year, where they postponed the games and made amends to get the games played. But it will be the whole fans in the stands will probably be dismissed until a later date.
So, Coach, let me ask you this. Coming from Anthony Price, a bubble kind of scenario. Players stay together for 5 weeks, no visiting family or friends. Kind of a little bit about kind of like what happened with the league, right? Where like the only way you can go in the bubble, and it was not just for players, it was for everyone, you had to be in quarantine for like 2 weeks. In terms of the NFL, because it is kind of like it's a stadium, it's an outdoor thing. Do you think a situation like this kind of might be their best option?
I agree with Trey. Take Trey answer on that question right there. He said it all. Wouldn't be surprised if you go back to not having no people in the stand to protect their safety and other players' safety. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that or cancel the season until further notice. Until like I say, you can come up with a legit date, and the worst you can have, and for football to come back, you just have to do what you got to do and just go with no fans in the stands or anything.
Greg, let me ask you a question in terms of the players. So obviously, some guys, like some NFL players, they play best when they get a reaction from the audience. You know what I mean? Every time, Aaron Donald kind of, he gets a sack or something like that, you kind of see him get hyped up. If you see a guy, you know what I mean? Like, you see those guys who kind of feel it. You know what I mean? Tony Pollard, he's another dude. When he breaks, you know what I mean? He gets, he was supposed to get a little play for about 5 yards, turns it into 15, and he kind of, feeds off the energy. Do you think that we'll see kind of, some guys dip in performance if the league goes to a kind of bubble format?
Yes, you can definitely see a dip if that does happen. I hope it doesn't. I love the fans being, in the stands and everything. Last year when it was nobody and it was just a fake noise and all that, I wasn't a particular, fan of that. But it all depends on how many cases, happen from, now till, the end of the regular season. I know they came out with something yesterday. The NFL has their tier 1 and tier 2 employees. They have to get the booster or something like that. So they're doing their best to avoid not having fans. So we'll see how this goes with the boosters. If that can help, then awesome. But if it doesn't, then you can see where we'll have no fans for the playoffs, possibly.
Yeah, which honestly, I'll be honest, I would rather have the league just today come out and say fans are not allowed. You either A, give them a refund, or B, give them and say, hey, we'll open up for the players. Because the thing is, for me, I'd rather, if I have to pick, I'd rather give up the fans now and have them in for the playoffs rather than the league try to fight it through and say, oh, we'll be able to be fine. Do this, it gets worse, and then all of a sudden for the playoffs, because last thing I want is casual people to say whatever NFL teams win this ring, whether it's Tampa, the Cardinals, the Rams, no matter who, I don't care who it is. Last thing I want is just for somebody to come and say this ring doesn't count because it was in a bubble, kind of like what they do in the NBA with the Lakers ring, right? It's like, yep, it doesn't count because it was in the bubble. And to me, I hate that. I think it's one of the most annoying things in the world, because the only people who are complaining that it's quote fake are the people whose team lost in it. Like, you know what I mean? So if it was me, I'm going to sit there and say, you know what? Let's just do it now. So that way, come playoffs, not only will it be normal, but personally, that'll make it even more hype. If I'm gonna be honest, because think about it, you got no fans for a little bit, then all of a sudden you go straight into the playoffs with fans, give some teams an extra boost or something like that. I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't mind that. Last night, Rams and Cardinals had a very crucial showdown. If the Rams won, they would have clinched a playoff spot. So
Carolina, the Arizona.
Yeah, that's what I said. Cardinals. Did I?
No, you said
If I messed up the Cardinals, then yeah. If just in case, if I messed up the Cardinals, if they won, they would have clinched a playoff spot, right? They would have been good. They would have been cruising. The Rams desperately needed this win. Came out and handled their business. Just throwing it out there. So Freddie claims he's a Giants fan. But if you ask him quick, who's their starting quarterback, he'll actually stutter and say Aaron Rodgers. Matter of fact, wait, hold on. I think we have it. Hold on.
How does the record matter, though? Let's be honest. Why does it matter? It's because we know.
That's not the one. That's not the one. We low-key caught him saying when he was talking about the Packers, saying saying something like that. Yo, Frankie, in the group chat, go ask Mike, right? Tag Mike Hughes. Ask him for the video when Freddie got caught saying the Packers was his team. He'll give you the video, and he'll feel dumb for there.
Make it go viral.
100%. We go. I'm gonna ask Mike for that because next time I'm playing it here because I'm sick and tired of Freddie always flip flopping. Kyler Murray, everyone was kind of applauding. He almost threw for 400 yards. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that he had no touchdowns with 2 interceptions. James Conner did everything in his power to keep them in it. Trey, let me ask you something. With this win from the Rams, is it fair to say that they were just going through a rough patch and they're still legitimate contenders?
I would think so. I hate to say it being that they're in the 49ers division, but of course, like as I said, the NFC West is a hard act to follow, the top to bottom. Even the Seattle Seahawks, who are at the bottom of the barrel in the league, the division, are also potentially make noise. So I think the Rams they did just have a rough patch. Odell Beckham is starting to figure out the offense. There's still some minor hiccups here and there. But, of course, saying as they are who we kind of thought they were initially when they was on clicking on all cylinders, and now they're starting to get that momentum back, which, it could be detrimental to the 49ers and a couple of other teams in the league. But we still got 4 games left. It's still some stuff to be figured out. So at this point, it's anyone's race.
Coach, so going into the game, the Cardinals were the number 1 seed. Losing that game, not only did they drop, but they dropped 2 spots. They're now the 3rd seed. Coach, let me ask you something. Do you think the Cardinals being at the 3 seed, do you think it's that big of a deal? Or do you think that they're just kind of like, as long as we're in the playoffs, we're comfortable?
You should not never think as long as you're in a playoff hunt, you're comfortable. You don't want to get over yourself. Nothing is never comfortable. You always want to improve every single day, get better and better. You're not just happy about just making the playoffs. You're not just happy about that. You're trying to get some. If you're going to make the playoffs, you're trying to get to the Super Bowl. I know some teams' expectations are trying to make the playoffs, but for me, I don't take just going to the playoffs. I want to get there and try to win it because the hottest team gets to the Super Bowl. That's just the fact of that. And got to give credit to the Los Angeles Rams. They played better, man. They were the better team last night. Matthew Stafford, he had 287 yards. He was 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Kyler Murray struggled. He had an interception when it was by the goal line, but tip pass. If the ball, anytime a ball is tipped, that is not your fault. Aaron Donald was disrupted the whole night. Aaron Donald was disrupted the whole night, and got to give credit to Aaron Donald the way he played that, coming up with that tip pass that turned into an interception. DeAndre Hopkins also dropped the 4th down play, dropped the 4th and 1 play. That was
a crucial one too, which blew my mind.
Yeah, because he don't even drop ball. He don't drop the passes.
Not like that.
Do you really think that Kyler Murray struggled? Like you just said, he was 300.
I'm gonna put it to this way. Overall, I think he struggled on certain plays because there was a couple plays I watched where I'm like, yo, Kyler, you got James Conner down there waiting for a quick check down. If you throw that check down, not only is that a first down, there were a couple times where nobody was in front of James Conner, and that was an easy touchdown. So I think there were a couple plays, but if we're talking about top to bottom, I mean, though I think it was the first interception he threw. That was his fault.
That was tilt. That wasn't his fault. It was a tilt pass.
So it was the second one. One of them was his fault.
One of them was his fault, but not the one that they were driving down the field when Aaron Donald got a hand.
Yeah, the Aaron Donald tip. I don't blame him.
Yeah, that's a
blame him because that's a good pass.
Yeah,
but
that's
a great play from Aaron Donald.
Yeah, that's not his fault.
A great
anytime you tip a ball, anytime you pretty much tip a ball and the ball just floats up and down, that's not your fault. That's just a great play. You just shake the defender hand and just go about. That's just a great play by the defender. But in Kyler Murray's caliber, the way everybody's saying MVP, that's a struggle game for him. That is a kind of like
382 yards passing. That's not a struggle.
I mean, the yards look good. I mean, the yards look great.
Not only that, but Trey, because here's how you
struggle though. You struggle making plays when you need it.
Because here's the thing: for when it comes to the MVP conversation,
yep,
we got to remember they nit and pick you like crazy. It was the Washington game for Tom Brady when he threw 2 picks in the first quarter.
Yep.
Even though the rest of the game Tom Brady played well, that game still haunts him because of those interceptions. So I think that's how it's going to be with Kyler Murray. Even though, look, top to bottom, I like the game he played. It's just, the 2 interceptions. One was his fault. One was tipped.
And
on top of that, there were a couple times where you can tell he was doing extra.
And I can tell you this. He missed a lot of receivers open. AJ Green was wide open.
Yes.
He missed him, and he said himself, how did I miss him? Rondale Moore wide open down the sideline. He led him a bad throw to lead out of bounds, which is he didn't catch the ball. It was a lot of bad throws. I mean, like I say, the yards and stuff looked pretty good, but for that caliber player and he's in the MVP race, that's kind of like a in and out struggling game for him. But other than that, I'm not putting the game on him. The game is not on him. Again, I mean, I just got to give credit to the Rams. They was the better team. Cooper Kupp, 13 catches, 123 yards and a touchdown. Hey, that man plays like a number one receiver. He's a slot receiver, and Odell Beckham is happy. That's the good thing. He is happy. That shows you more about Baker Mayfield couldn't get him the ball, or he wasn't just a great fit. But Matthew Stafford spreads the ball around a lot. Then they was able to run the ball a little bit better. Sony Michel's 79 yards, 20 carries. They was able to establish a run game a little bit. So all in all, I just think LA was the better team tonight without Jalen Ramsey to hold it down. With Tyler Higbee, your tight end. That's a pretty big win going into Arizona. And I think Arizona should finish the season out on a strong note. I don't think they should ever be happy about just making the playoffs, because you're 10-3, and that is, if you lose the first round or anything, that is a disappointing season, especially the talent that you got on that offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. James Conner, that is a failure season right there. You expect better, but they should not be happy about just making the playoffs. That you're one of the best teams in the NFC. You got the toughest division. Now your road is to at least NFC championship, not first round.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, especially with this team. I mean, somebody said this. Anthony Price said, home field advantage is key in the playoffs. Most teams play better at home than away. And it's not even just playing, right? Like, imagine you need to game plan for this team. You need to get in the mentality. And then when you're home, you can do all that stuff. And guess what? You don't got to travel. Guess what? You go home. You're relaxed. You can now do your normal everyday routine and it not be broken. So I genuinely believe, especially, in every sport, but especially the playoffs, you definitely 100% need to pay attention to home field advantage because it matters. Greg, let me ask you a question. This comment right here brings up a very interesting point. Great, Frankie Cruz says, great win for the Rams. What upsets me is no one showing my boy Cooper Kupp credit. By the way, Dante, coach, he typed this before you started talking about Coop. So it's not like he heard you and he ignored you or anything like that.
No,
so,
I already gave Cooper Kupp his dues,
Right.
And he's good.
Right. And here comes the second part. He definitely deserves, and when he says he's referring to Cooper Kupp, he definitely deserves Offensive Player of the Year. Greg,
I think he deserves to be in the MVP discussion. The discussion, not win it, but the discussion.
Yeah.
Cooper. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is he is the engine of the Rams offense. I don't know why the Rams. Excuse me, I was about to say the Rams. I don't know why the Cardinals were not doubling Kupp. I know that OBJ is there and all that, but look, Cooper Kupp is the one. He is the sugar in the Kool-Aid. Okay, like he's
Urban.
Kool-Aid. Like you have to stop Cooper Kupp, and why they didn't double team him, I don't know what kind of defensive game plan that they were trying to do, but like y'all were saying, with Kyle Murray, he missed some throws. The difference in the game was Stafford made the throws, and Murray did not make the throws. You look at Murray's QBR. I'm a big QBR geek. So his QBR was 36 and Matthew Stafford's was 86. The person that's 86, more than likely he's going to win that 9 times out of 10. So Stafford played a great game. The Rams needed this game. They are back now. The Rams are back now. And they are a Super Bowl contender when they play like this consistently. They are a Super Bowl contender. But whoever gets that number 1 seed, unless it's the Packers, because we know Aaron Rodgers can never win no NFC Championship game.
Oh, be careful, because you might summon Freddie. You might summon the Packers. Sorry, Giants fan.
Yeah, well, Freddie, he can't win no NFC Championship game. I'm sorry.
Talk to him.
So, besides them, if Tampa gets that 1 seed, I see Tampa going to the Super Bowl. If the Cardinals somehow fall back into the 1, then I see the Cardinals making it. But that number 1 seed is very important on both sides of the conference, NFC and AFC this year.
Real quick. Freddie says OBJ makes it easy for Coop, which I understand why he said that. But again, you're acting like Cooper Kupp wasn't doing this before OBJ came here. So before it came, I don't know why I said here. I'm in South Carolina. I don't know. But I guess I'm low-key a Rams fan. But I do understand him making it quote easy on paper because of his name. But Cooper Kupp has been doing this before OBJ came. So for me, I don't even think he really needed to do it. Greg, don't make me come on that show.
He's 1-3 in NFC.
Hey, and Van Jefferson is not a bad receiver either. He's a pretty.
No, he's not.
He's a pretty decent receiver as well. He caught a long touchdown pass last night versus the Philly.
I like Van Jefferson a lot,
and that's what I was about to say. That's why they can't double team Cooper Kupp now because OBJ is there now. Van is making a case to be a person to be a force to be reckoned with. Like they can't. You have to basically choose your poison, and you get what you get. So I think Kupp is more so he deserves to be in the MVP conversation as well. The possibility to win it, like they're exactly like you're saying, he is the reason why the predominantly in which why the Rams are in the position that they are in now. He's a go-to receiver. His hands is golden. He only dropped 2, and we don't know what the circumstances of that was. Like he makes it like their wide receiver room definitely makes the team go.
Yep. One last comment before we move on. Quarterbacks always take a lot of the flack, and they're always the ones you end up blaming for a loss. Look at Carr. He didn't fumble the ball for time. He only fumbled the ball once and threw okay. So basically, he's basically trying to say. But here's the thing. Here's how I look at Derek Carr the same way I look at Tua Tagovailoa. He can come out and have a perfect game. He can go 30 for 30, right? He can throw 7 touchdowns. Matter of fact, let's have him break the record. 8 touchdowns in a game. No picks, right? No checkdowns. Every ball he threw was an 80-yard dot. And if they somehow lose, it's going to be their fault. So I think Derek Carr is in this situation where if he breathes, it's his fault. If he misses the game, it's his fault. he could be perfect, but because, like, look, bro, I saw people, and this is not a joke, when Henry Ruggs did what he did, people blame Jared Goff because not Jared Goff, Derek Carr, because his leadership wasn't good enough. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. A grown man decided to drive under the influence, decided to drive drunk, killed somebody, and it's somehow Derek Carr's fault. Let that sink in. So that's why, for me, I feel bad for Derek Carr because he's in a situation where, like, the dude can never do anything right. He does everything, like, you know what I mean? Like, if he does what he's supposed to do, it's not good enough. So for me, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, and I understand what they're saying, quarterbacks take a lot of flack, but I think Derek Carr is in a whole nother stratosphere. I think he's somewhere completely different. Because like I said, Derek Carr is the most underappreciated quarterback in the NFL by a long shot. Underappreciated, undervalued, underrespected, if I can make a new word, like under everything, bro. And one thing I'll give him props for, he takes that shit on the chin. He does not care, and he just shows up and plays and is like, yo, whether you like me or hate me, y'all know I'm talented. Aaron Rodgers, he broke his toe. His toe hurts. Meanwhile, Thomas Everett Patrick Brady Jr. had a fucked up MCL, won the Super Bowl. But again, that's neither here nor there. Why am I talking about that, Trey? But let me ask you a question, because speaking of Tom Brady, the team he's on, the Buccaneers, they beat Buffalo, right?
Mm-hmm.
After the game, when Josh Allen came to do the post-game presser, all of a sudden, homeboy was in a boot. Now, that blew my mind because, again, maybe I'm crazy, but I didn't see him really, move in a way that would make me assume he needed a boot. Now, I could be wrong. Perhaps I missed something where he was on the sidelines, grabbing his ankle or something. But Trey, let me start with you. What do you think is, like, more concerning? Aaron Rodgers' fractured toe that he refuses to get surgery on because he believes, what's the point? I'll be fine. Or Josh Allen coming out in a walking boot?
I would say the Josh Allen coming out in the walking boot, basically because that's part of his game. Josh Allen has predicated on him being a mobile quarterback. So, of course, didn't he have like 100 yards rushing or something like that, or pretty close to it? Like
If I'm not mistaken, he led the Bills in rushing yards. If I'm not mistaken.
So if he's a rushing quarterback, then of course that extremity is going to be very is detrimental to him having to be able to move around and get around. Aaron Rodgers decides he doesn't want to get the surgery, and his fractured toe isn't that big of an issue. So he believes then at this point, I would say that Josh Allen's walking boot, meaning he has a lower ankle injury or a high ankle sprain or something like that. He has an ankle injury is more concerning.
Coach, like we said, Josh, Frankie Cruz, as a Patriots fan, I'm loving what's happening at Buffalo, and we played them one more time. Frankie, you said that wrong. We beat them one more time. I fixed your typo, brother. Coach, obviously, like Josh Allen, he had over 100. He had 109 yards rushing with a tutty. Shout out to him. Got him in one of my fantasy teams. Kind of sad that all of a sudden he wanted to be in a walking boot. But do you think that, let's say it's nothing serious, right? Let's say it's just, it was a precautionary measure. They're not really concerned about it. They're just trying to, make sure he's okay. They do play, if I'm not mistaken, they play the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, yeah, we do play them. That's going to be easy. Do you think that with what's going on with Josh Allen, is it possible that maybe they trying to kind of look at Josh and say, look, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, Matt Breida, those three dudes, we're going to be running the ball more. You're not really going to throw much. Do you think Sean McDermott will finally do a decision? He's going to do his job as a coach and actually make an adjustment?
You want me to give you a quick answer to that? That is a hell no. I don't think you would do it. But and if you try to do it, Bill, you got one of the greatest coaches of all time that can adjust and can adjust to it if it's tried. So you're gonna have to come out. Eventually, Josh Allen's gonna have to throw the ball. You don't rely on your running game anyway.
Hold on, I gotta correct myself.
Go ahead.
They play the Panthers.
The Bills, yes, they play the Panthers. We play the Colts, which stupid easy. That's stupid easy.
Really?
Oh,
really, Brian?
Look here.
Come on,
Look
Brian.
here. Look, listen. Let me ask you a question. Name me another quarterback that can throw for over 60% and 50-mile-per-hour winds. The wind is gushing like crazy. And my quarterback, we're not going to talk about how many times he threw the ball. We're not going that route. I'm just saying 67. Nah, all due respect, I do think we'll win. I really do. But I will say this, Carson Wentz, every week, he's looking more and more and more comfortable. And this year might not be their year, but next year, I highly, highly expect the Colts to make some legitimate noise. Just with the fact that not only is Carson starting to get more comfortable, their line is getting healthier. And going forward in the future, I think the Colts will be a big problem. And they'll be a bigger problem than the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry coming back. I wholeheartedly believe that. But Coach, my bad. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to correct myself because I was so eager to us, beating them and be, crown the AFC, I'm not even gonna say the division. We don't keep the number one seed. It is what it is. But go ahead, Coach.
Against the Carolina Panthers, the problem is not their defense. It is their offensive side of the football. That's their problem. I think their defense is respectable. Their offense has calmed down. Cam Newton can't stop turning the damn ball over. Or what matter where any quarterback plays in that offense, they can't stop turning the ball over. I'll say if you're Carolina, I would consider going to going back to PJ Walker. I will continue. I think your playoff hopes is over. You got nothing to lose now. Why not try PJ Walker to see what he's got and see what he can do for you? See what's the man for the is he the man for the job? Because somebody is gonna go in this offseason. What if it's Sam Darnold, PJ Walker, or Cam Newton? Someone's gonna go, but I think Josh Allen is gonna have to throw the ball some against Carolina. They do got a respectable defense. The problem is the offense can't move the football and they can't stop turning the damn ball over, and they keep that damn defense on the field too goddamn much. So other than that, I think their defense is pretty respectable. But we're gonna see what's happening. I think Josh Allen is gonna have to really throw the ball, but also you gotta be able to run the football. You got to better establish a running game with Moss and Singletary. You got to be able to take some of that pressure off his leg, off Josh Allen's ankle, and you have to establish a run game for Josh Allen to stay right. But other than that, Carolina's just a dumpster fire. But their defense is just it's respectable. I'm not gonna say great, or it's respectable.
And it's kind of crazy, real quick, about the Panthers. They started 3-0 and have been 2-8 ever since. And I do feel bad because I genuinely believe that this season has been injury riddled. Once, they built everything around Christian McCaffrey, he went down, and then they all kind of was just like, so where do we go from here? Then Sam Darnold goes down, and then Cam Newton gets hurt. Oh, no, he didn't get hurt. He got pulled because all of a sudden he forgot which team he played for. I guess that's how long he's been not playing. Greg, let me ask you something. Josh Allen in the walking boot. This is something I'm genuinely curious in. Do you think it's a legitimate injury in terms of he's got something torn or something broke or something like that? Or do you think it's more along the lines of they're just trying to, be cautious with him, seeing that he's their franchise quarterback?
I think it's more of a caution thing because there was nothing during the game where it seemed like something was messed up or, broken or, anything. So I think it's more of a caution thing. The Bills need Josh Allen because if he can't go or if he's less than 50% and they got to go to Mitchell Trubisky, good luck. No, ain't no good luck because their season is over. They got to rely on Mitchell Trubisky. So I expect Buffalo to beat Carolina. Now, when they play New England, I have no idea how that's going to go, honestly. But it would be nice if the Patriots lost the game. But
nah, we don't feel like it.
It would be nice. But, yeah, I think it's just a caution thing. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll start on Sunday. It's just they don't want anything, whatever is kind of bothering them. I think they just want to, take caution, make sure it doesn't get worse than what it already is.
Just real quick, because so you're saying Josh Allen is leading in rushing on the whole team this season. That's crazy. I was referring to that game, yesterday's game. Sunday's game against the Buccaneers, but I looked into it and he's second on Buffalo squad in terms of rushing yards, but he's got 531. Devin Singletary has 547. The next highest, so the third person on the team with the third most rushing yards is Zach Moss with 286. Like, that drop off is wild, considering one of the second highest rusher on your team is your quarterback. So it's going to be very interesting. To me, I'll be honest, I think the more concerning thing is Aaron Rodgers. And I
wanted to say that so bad. My bad for cutting you out. I wanted to say that so bad.
You want to say that too?
Yeah, if you lose Aaron Rodgers, that's a nail in the. That's probably that. I don't know if it's a nail in the coffin for the playoffs, but that is a nail in the coffin. If you lose Green Bay, because Aaron Rodgers mean more to Green Bay, way more to Green Bay. He mean a lot to Green Bay than Josh Allen means to Buffalo. Josh Allen means a lot to Buffalo, but Aaron Rodgers, we all know Aaron Rodgers is the carrier of that Green Bay franchise. We all know that.
I mean, and the way I look at it is this, right? Like, Aaron Rodgers just doesn't want to have the surgery because he feels like it's not really something worth getting surgery for. In his mind, he's like, it's a little fracture. I'll play through it, and it is what it is, right? What's going to happen when, he runs, ends up getting hit? What happens then? He slides wrong. What happens then? Because, again, it's his foot, right? He takes that weird,
It's his toe. It's his toe. Yep.
Exactly. So the thing is let's say when he rolls out of the pocket, plants his foot, flings it, it goes. Where does it go from here? You know what I mean? Like, for Josh Allen, we don't know if it's serious or not. So I'm just saying this based on the stuff I know, right? I genuinely believe the thing with Josh Allen is not serious. I just think they're kind of being cautious with him. They're more kind of just like, he probably came to us and said, my ankle don't feel right. And they're like, okay, boom, put the boot on. That's it. You're putting the boot on. We're going to go from there. Do you feel good to, do the pressure thing? Yeah. Okay. Do that. We'll get you some MRIs and we'll go from there, or MRIs, x-rays, whatever he's saying that he's feeling. So for me, I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers because, again, look, who's better, Mitchell Trubisky or Jordan Love? That's a question we kind of need to find out, So let's say Josh Allen goes down. Is Mitchell Trubisky going to lead them to the promised land? No. But I think Mitchell Trubisky has a better chance of doing it.
I believe he can lead them to the playoffs. I believe he can get them to. There's a chance he can get them there.
And that's what that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like Mitchell Trubisky has a better chance of leading Buffalo than Jordan Love does the Packers. At least that's kind of the angle I'm looking at. You know what I mean? And also, here's the thing. Look, Aaron Rodgers, there's actually a legitimate chance Aaron Rodgers goes back to Green Bay, right? There's a legit chance, because he's working on it. And he hasn't ruled it out. He said, look, if they give me a 3 to 5 year deal, if they're the first ones to offer it, I'm a sign. Like that, like that's what he said. He said, as long as if they're the first team to give it to me, that's it. Like he doesn't want like a one and done type of deal. He's more along the lines of the first team to throw a 3-year deal at me, that's where I'm going. So imagine if he gets hurt. I don't know if Green Bay is going to be comfortable paying him that. You know what I mean? So like for me, like the way I look at it, there's a whole bunch of question marks when it comes to Aaron Rodgers and his future, not just in Green Bay, but his career in the league. Because if, let's say, that ends up getting worse, I don't know a team who's going to be comfortable giving him a 3-year deal. I don't think any team is going to be that comfortable to give him a 3-year deal. You know what I mean? Especially with the fact that Russell Wilson's also available. You know what I mean? With Russ being available and, guys out there like Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo potentially being available, all that stuff, I don't know if anyone's really going to do it for Aaron. So for me, I think the more concerning thing is really with Aaron, but it's just because, let's say Josh Allen kind of gets, let's say the boot is something serious and he's out for the year, right? The way they've been playing, me personally, I had them in the Super Bowl. I don't have them even getting out of the first round. Like, I don't really see them like that because, again, there's adjustments they need to make, and they're not making set adjustments. So if you lose Aaron Rodgers, this is a Super Bowl caliber team. That's still a Super Bowl caliber team. You lose Aaron Rodgers, and you're in this weird situation where they still haven't clinched a playoff spot. So it's not like, going to the playoffs is guaranteed. So for me, I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers. One comment before we move on to the next thing. How do you guys feel about Lamar Jackson playing this Sunday with an ankle injury? Is that a rush that will hurt him in the future? Greg, I'm going to start with you. How do you feel about it?
You never want to rush somebody that's injured. I would sit Lamar down this week, but if he comes, but now this is where this falls on John Harbaugh. If Lamar Jackson starts Sunday and that injury gets worse, the blame is going to be on John Harbaugh for rushing him back. Now, John Harbaugh's done some questionable coaching decisions the past couple weeks. The 2-point going for 2 against the Steelers, I wouldn't have did it. That's just my own personal take. The going for 2 against Cleveland last week, I wouldn't have did that one. That's my own. I'm not a analytics guy. I don't believe in all that. I just think that's jargon. But if Lamar starts and that ankle gets worse, John Harbaugh is going to get the blame for that because he rushed him back too soon.
Yep, and he definitely gonna have to wear that one. There's no debate on that, because if I'm John Harbaugh, I don't start Lamar Jackson. You're pushing this kid as the face of your franchise, and
exactly, it's
gonna be interesting. Coach, let me ask you something. As of right now, the Ravens are 4th in the AFC. Obviously they haven't clinched a playoff spot. Their loss could, can kind of, screw them over a little bit. Do you think that the fact that the Baltimore Ravens, are, at 4 and could potentially slide down and even out, do you think that's the main reason that Lamar Jackson is playing Sunday?
Yep, I probably think that's the main reason, because they feel like Lamar Jackson gives them a best chance to win. But to be honest, Tyler Huntley is pretty much a good quarterback. I like Tyler Huntley.
Right?
He can scramble. He can get about. He is a dual threat quarterback. He made some heck of a plays yesterday. Yes, he missed one pass that I feel like he should have made to Marquise Hollywood Brown when they did get the ball back off the outside kick. Yes, he missed that pass, but that was a perfect pass over the middle to the tight end right there, and he fought them and he got them back in that game. So I feel like if you can kind of probably rest Lamar Jackson this weekend and take some pressure off his ankle and give Tyler Huntley pretty much a go, because he can scramble. He's a dual threat quarterback, man. He didn't play bad Sunday, and he brought him back in the game with Lamar Jackson. Pretty much went out of the game, and he had control of the game, control of this offense. And I like Tyler Huntley. He's not a bad quarterback. And like Greg said, if they somehow fail and lose this game and he gets hurt again, Harbaugh's gonna have to wear this L. He's gonna have to take a big old fat L up on this if something happens to this guy. But Tyler Huntley had played a very good game against Cleveland. From 22-6 at that, he brought him back. He brought him back from 22-6 at that. I believe that's when Lamar Jackson went up out of the game, and if not earlier, but he made some pretty capable throws and stuff like that. Probably the one throw that he wish he could have had back, that they could have probably kicked the game-winning field goal and won the game, because you got the best kicker in the game of football in Tucker. So again, I would have threw Tyler Huntley out there. Told Lamar Jackson, man, I can't take that risk on your ankle this week, so we're gonna go with Huntley. And hey, I would have went at that. If your ankle feels better, I will throw you back out there, and you will be the guy to go with. But I would not risk that ankle injury. And plus, that's what he needs. He goes off his athleticism ability using his legs. That's his big aspect of his game as well. So, and Huntley has the same aspect: the legs, the arm. He has the arm like Lamar Jackson, but he can play make ability as well. So again, that would definitely hurt Baltimore if they lose this game, or if he gets hurt. Or if Jackson is limited in anything, especially if he can't move in the pocket and get out the pocket with his legs, that will hurt him.
Yeah, Trey, I pulled up the schedule, and while I was doing that, Buddy kind of put it in the chat. So Packers, then the Bengals, then the Rams, and then the Steelers. Low key, it is a gauntlet, you know.
I was just about to say that. That's
for me. It is. I mean, the Steelers, that's going to be easy. I mean, it's the Steelers, so let's just call it what it is. That's going to be easy for the Ravens. But the first Packers, then the Bengals, who are kind of tough. Depends what Bengals team you get, because they are young. And the Rams. So seeing the last four of their schedule, and it's in that order, by the way. It is in that order. Do you think this is another factor on why John Harbaugh is kind of letting, Lamar Jackson suit up and play Sunday? I think you're muted, homeboy. Yeah, you're muted.
In that slate, that's like they can split that 2-2 for the most part. So, but you don't want to be start off that slate with a loss and just snowball from there. But it's a hard game. So I believe that yes, Huntley did come in relief and help out, but the Packers against Aaron Rodgers, like we know that it's not quarterback against quarterback, but mentally it is. So you don't want to put them in that position. So I think you want to have your best player if available, and if it's not going to hurt him too much, then you want to put him in the game. So I think that's why Harbaugh is going ahead and going to let him play if he's able to. If he's not, then they're not going to put him in.
Yeah. For me, I'll be honest. I don't. And by the way, Packers top 5 defense. Yes, they are. If I'm saying they're top 5 on offense and defense. So, but for me, when it comes to this whole situation with Lamar, look, I understand, but at the same time, I'm not starting this kid. I'm not. And he can get mad all he wants. He could pout, cry, complain, moan, all that stuff. And I'll tell him, I don't care. You're not playing. Because I'm not going to put you out there. You get hurt. And now not only I look stupid, you look stupid, the organization looks stupid, And then guess what? Your career now pans out differently. You know what I mean? And look, Lamar Jackson right now cannot be a pocket passer. He's not. That's just kind of a fact, right? He relies a lot on his athleticism. If he loses athleticism now, dude is going to be out the league. Because his athleticism and his running ability, that's what makes him special. If you lose what makes you special, you're gonna look iffy. If you don't believe me, go holler at RG3. Who the best football-related thing he did was hand Bryce Young the Heisman Trophy. That's it. That's the most relevant he's been in a few years. And before he did that, he was a backup for this same Ravens team. So I'm not risking it. I'm not putting this kid in a situation where you're already hurt. I'm against a Packers defense who likes to hit hard. Come on, stop playing. You're begging this kid to get hurt. You know what I mean? Like one sack, all of a sudden his leg gets folded. What do you do from there?
And that's and
on top of that, when he runs, and this is gonna be my last point, then I'm gonna let you go, Greg.
Okay.
But on top of that, it's his ankle. It's not his shoulder or anything. It's his ankle. So now his running ability is compromised. Now, when he plants and does a juke, tweaks his ankle even worse. Now what? Now he does that. He kind of starts gipping a little bit. Now what? Now where do you go from here? When you have Tyler Huntley, who, again, he's not the best in the world, but he's a solid quarterback who can kind of keep it together for a few. You know? You just need him. And again, even with Lamar, with this schedule, they're probably splitting, if we're going to be honest. They're probably going to split. So even if you're going to do that with Lamar, you're probably still going to split with Tyler Huntley. That's what I'd rather do. Me personally, I'm sitting the kid. Let me ask y'all a question real quick. And we can go around the horn because I had this thought. And some people are mad at me for this thought. You know, they're not fans of me. They're very upset with me. I want to hear what y'all think about it. And then after that, we'll do the power rankings and then we'll move on to the next segment. But so Ben Roethlisberger has came out and he said, I'm done. I'm not playing with the Steelers no more, but I'm not retiring. There's another team, Now, when I first heard that, I thought this dude is out of his fucking mind. Like, who would get this Ben Roethlisberger, right? So I thought at first. I even did a whole show saying how Ben Roethlisberger is wild, right? I put that up on Friday. Saturday, I was thinking to myself, who would do it? And this is what I actually believe this. I believe it. And I know I'm going to sound wild. But if this team cannot get Aaron Rodgers, because I wholeheartedly believe Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in Green Bay. I believe Russ is going to end up ending in one of the West Coast teams. And I wholeheartedly believe Deshaun Watson, if everything gets cleared out, is going to end up with Miami. That's going to leave the San Francisco 49ers in the cold. Am I wild to say that I actually believe they will cut Jimmy G and sign Ben Roethlisberger next year and have him start? Am I wild for that?
You on that K2?
I am. I'm on it.
You on that K2?
Yeah.
Let me explain why I feel this way. Let me explain why I feel this way. Because Trey, he's a Niners fan, so he's mad. He probably want to kick me. But this is why I think about it. The Niners are already fed up with Jimmy Garoppolo, right? They're fed up with him. Trey Lance isn't ready. And if you cut Jimmy G, you're saving a whole bunch of money. Like, if I'm not mistaken, so his last year he gets paid $24 million. And if he gets cut, if I'm not mistaken, they could save, what was it, like 20? It's like what, 20-something million they could save? And it was something like that. Where if they cut him, it's a whole bunch of money that if they cut him before the beginning, he's good, right? Like, they'll be able to save all that money, right? Trey Lance isn't ready. If they can't get anybody else, I wholeheartedly believe they're going to reach and they're going to get Ben Roethlisberger. I wholeheartedly believe it. I really do. Especially in the position they're in now where they're kind of panicking and they're kind of like, because in Trey, this is still in terms of talent a Super Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
They got it all defensively. They're finding they're finding running backs literally on the corner somehow, and they're putting them in there, and all of a sudden these guys are rushing for like 100 plus yards. So with all that, what is the weak link on this team? Give it to me, Trey. You know what the weak link is on your team?
But it's not weak enough to bring in Ben.
I think so. And I'm going to tell you why. Trey Lance isn't ready, and the problem with Jimmy Garoppolo is there's no faith in him. That's why right now, I do believe Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Ben Roethlisberger. I do believe that. However, it doesn't matter how great you are. If your team doesn't believe in you, they're going to have, you got to go get somebody else.
So they owe him $25.5 million next year.
So they'll say $25.5 million,
mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, that alone has made people legitimately think we should cut Jimmy Garoppolo. In terms of like the 49ers like fan base, a lot of them think they should cut him solely to save that money. Right? So again, you see, I see you thinking, Trey, and now you realize I'm not as crazy as it sounds.
No, you're still crazy.
As crazy as it sounds.
You're still crazy as hell. So what you gotta think is the idea of what the game plan was is that they would most likely keep Jimmy G 2 years while they go ahead and they bring Trey Lance along. I don't think they're going to go from that, especially now. Like you gotta think at one point, I've been holding it, but at one point we was on, I remember like 2 weeks into the show starting, ASAP in the morning starting, we had a hot take segment. And I said at the time, the 49ers was 2-4. 2-4. And at that point, I said that we were going to get back into the playoffs. We was going to win 7 of the last 11 games, and we'll be in the playoff contender. At this point, we're a playoff contender with the 6th seed. So who did that? Like Jimmy G did that. So although he has his snafus and mess up and hiccups here and there, he's still a quarterback that can get the job done. So it still remains to be seen with some game planning and stuff like that. He still has some value. I think they value him enough to pay him that 2.5 next year while they continue to bring Trey Lance along, so that way when Jimmy leaves, Trey Lance can take the helm. Pending there's no one like a Aaron Rodgers that's out there to want to come, or someone like that could be a stopgap to that. So I don't foresee Jimmy G going anywhere unless it's someone of greater value that's out there or a greater a beneficial trade. So he's staying put. Definitely not for no damn Ben Roethlisberger.
I mean, it's plethora of receivers out there too. Not receivers, but quarterbacks out there that the Pittsburgh Steelers can get rid of. It's a veteran, or if they reach one in the draft, I highly doubt they don't. Teddy Bridgewater's on a 1-year contract. It's a good chance he's not going to be there next year in Denver. So it's a good chance Pittsburgh can gather him up, or they can somehow negotiate a deal with to get Russell Wilson there.
But here's but Coach,
John Watson. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask you this real quick, because Trey, I feel like Trey's biased. He's sensitive, right? Because this is his team. And look, let me just make this clear. In no way am I saying if Ben Roethlisberger is on this team that all of a sudden they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah, you say a business move.
What I'm saying is because of the business and the economics and just the fact that they're like, you know what, Jimmy needs to just go elsewhere. We need, he kind of just needs a new place. Because of that is why I feel like they'll bring in Ben Roethlisberger. Coach, me saying Ben Roethlisberger to the Niners, are you on Trey thinking I'm on drugs, or is it somewhat? Now, I'm not saying you got to say I'm a genius or nothing, but it has to make just a little bit of sense, right?
I don't think it does. Not for their organization standpoint.
You know what, Coach?
That's why you go up and get Trey Lance number 2. for that because it's fit for him to take the starting job in case if they're not going to be sold on Jimmy G at some point. So again, for the organization standpoint, I think it's going to be a matter of time for Trey Lance to be the guy that is put for him to be the guy. That's why if they keep Jimmy G another year, Trey Lance can learn another year. That way he can be ready. He can learn the playbook, get practices in, and just be ready. I don't think they need Ben Roethlisberger. I don't see them going over there and getting Ben Roethlisberger while you drafted Trey Lance number 2, and all of a sudden you put Ben Roethlisberger right there, and then Trey Lance got to have a setback. Got to have
Greg,
a setback.
don't nod, Greg. Greg, do not nod.
If Mac Jones got injured, would you, and Ben Roethlisberger is out there available, are you?
We're not, but that's a whole separate conversation. No, I'm saying we're not paying Mac Jones. First of all,
well, I'm just saying from the standpoint of.
I'm not saying that all of a sudden. Why? Listen.
No. So people are saying like this is I'm Rembrandting right now. So if Mac Jones got injured and Ben Roethlisberger was available, would you be beating down? Would you be jumping on your desk trying to tell him the Patriots to go grab Ben?
What's the injury? I need to know the injury, and I need to know who's my backup.
Who is your backup?
Isn't Brian Hoyer still?
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about this year?
No, not you. Let's say this year.
So we're talking about the roster we have now.
No,
if Mac Jones was injured, would I be banging on the door if Ben Roethlisberger was just out available?
Yeah.
No, because we got Brian. But hold on. The difference is we have a guy in Brian Hoyer who can hold it down. You feel me? Trey Lance can't even hold it down for a play. Fuck a game. Right now, as he's constructed as he is, he can't hold it down for a while. That's just my point. I'm not saying give Ben a 5-year deal.
Yeah, you're saying that's a stopgap.
Exactly. He'll just be there to save money. They'll let Jimmy G, they either cut him, trade him, whatever the case may be. They should probably trade him because he has some value still. Get something for him. Have Ben Roethlisberger to be a cheap 1-year option. That way it gives time for, and on top of that, even though Ben Roethlisberger right now, physically he's not good, he still has some knowledge he can pass down to Trey Lance and do all that stuff. So that way, when after that year, when he's gone, Trey Lance is closer to starting. Because let's be honest, and let's be honest now, what the fuck is Trey Lance learning from Jimmy Garoppolo? Let's have this conversation. What is he learning from Jimmy Garoppolo? Nothing. Nothing at all. And I would not be shocked if they don't even talk to each other. I would be surprised Trey Lance calls him Jimmy G because he can't even say his last name because he's not bothered to learn it. So, all right, Greg, you're not my friend no more. Trey, you're on thin ice. Coach, we ain't cool no more. Jay, I need a friend. Okay.
Hey, Fry, you know what Trey tried to do? He tried to snatch your gun out your hand and flip it out. And flip it back
let that sink in. And he shot at me to scare me. Like,
ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, Mr. Hunter.
It ain't not at all. Not at all. Like, Jay, let me ask you something. I need a friend, Jay. Please be my friend. I believe
don't drink the Kool-Aid, Jay.
After everything is said and done,
Jay, don't go for it.
If the Niners don't get any of the quarterbacks they want, meaning Russ, Deshaun, or Aaron Rodgers, I wholeheartedly believe that they're gonna cut their losses with Jimmy Garoppolo, sign Big Ben on like a 1-year deal, and next year he's gonna be the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. Is it really that crazy for me to say that?
Well, if they do that, then they're if they do take on Ben Roethlisberger, then they're obviously giving up the competitive edge, and they're saying, okay, we're not going to be competitive this year, and we're willing to wait and basically just go into purgatory and hopefully hope that Trey learns something from Ben. And if he does, great. If he doesn't, well, then it is what it is. But I mean, if you're going to take on Big Ben, then you're basically saying that you're giving up the season, and you're telling your season ticket holders, hey, I'm sorry. I know you want a competitive team, but we're gonna wait and hopefully that Trey Lance will be the next guy. So I don't know if I'm a season ticket holder. I don't really know what.
Why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here? Right?
Yeah,
Like,
listen. I'm trying to be a friend, but damn, man, if I'm a season ticket holder, I don't want Big Ben coming. That's just telling me my team's giving up a year. I'm damn near 50 years old, Pride. I ain't got a lot more years left. I need my valuable years.
Hold on. And you're a Dallas fan.
I'm a Dallas fan, so yeah, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. So
he's not a Cowboys fan. Look, this is all I'm saying. I'm not saying that with Ben Roethlisberger they're gonna go and light the world on fire, but I will say this: in terms of money, it makes sense. And if you bring in Ben Roethlisberger, honestly, I think you're going to step forward in terms of the stuff he can teach Trey Lance. And in terms of the fact that, you're kind of laying out the future better. Yeah, you're sacrificing 1 year, sure. But it's honestly 1 year that even with Jimmy G, the Niners aren't going to do shit anyway. I mean, and no disrespect, Trey, but let's be honest. With Jimmy G next year, you guys will be hyped if y'all just make the playoffs again. You know what I mean? That's just how I look at it. You know what? Y'all gonna make me out here be a Ben Roethlisberger fan, and I hate the man with a passion. Like, it's people like you that make Ben Roethlisberger fans. It's people like you that make Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
He's retiring as a Steeler, man.
He's washed up.
No, don't get twisted, Grant. He is washed up, but I genuinely believe that's honestly the only team I can see that would give him a starting job. Wholeheartedly. I think that's the only team that would actually do it. I think everybody else is kind of pretty much set, and they don't really care. You know what I mean? It's to the point where the Texans benched Tyrod Taylor for
Mills.
Davis Mills.
Mm-hmm.
They benched it for him. A dude who literally earlier in the season we were like, yo, dog, we feel bad for him because he was thrown in a situation where he can't,
Well, but that's a good benching because we ain't going no goddamn way anyway. The offense ain't showing no damn improvement. You might well put him out.
I still would have played Tyrod Taylor.
We ain't doing nothing anyway. He ain't helping us. He can't. He after Tennessee Titans game, he can't seem to move the football. So what else could we do? Then he on a 1 year contract anyway. He's gonna be gone anyway. So hey, what else? We got nothing to lose. Just want to see what else Davis Mills got. Where he can't go no worse.
Let me just say one thing, and then we'll move on. Trey, when Ben Roethlisberger, when he's the next quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, I'm just going to be here, and I'm going to be like this. And I'm going to have you open the show, and we're going to have the topic for you, and you're going to have your moment.
When magical freaking unicorns come out of the freaking sky.
No, hold on. No, Jay. I said, hold on, Jay.
That big unicorn turd on this show.
But Jay.
I would be like.
But Jay, here's the thing. I'm just talking about something that's feasibly possible, right? In your scenario with rainbows and unicorns and trolls under bridge, that's what would need to happen for fucking the Cowboys to win a Super Bowl. I'm talking about something feasible. I
think you come back to reality for a minute because the Chronic has done got you split two ways.
Look, I'm telling you this right now. I'm telling you, if the 49ers don't get either Russ, if they don't get A-Rod, or if they don't get Deshaun, I'm telling you, and it's going to be crazy, but just remember this. Someone said, was y'all calling Ben washed up when they started 11-0? I was saying this is the worst 11-0 team in the history of the NFL. Was
that like a year or two
years ago? I think it was like 2 years ago. And I was saying that year, 100%. Personally, I thought
people gotta stop getting so caught up in the past, man. Listen, we're the present.
But I wasn't but
this ain't last year or even the year before that. This is the present day.
Right, but even then, I was saying that was the beginning of the decline for Ben Roethlisberger because that's kind of when you kind of see him like when he was just throwing the ball, he does not look the same. He was throwing a couple of Tim Tebow throws, like the helicopter shits. He was throwing a few of those. He was missing guys like Juju and whatnot. You know what I mean? So for me, Mr. Stay said, no, that was last season.
that was like, and
Yeah.
even then last season that was like they was limping like that getting to 11-0. They had a couple of close games, although they still wins. Hence the reason after that, didn't they hit a complete debacle? Like, didn't they just completely fall off? So
after that, they ended up being 12-4, I think it was. They ended up ending the year with 12-4. Like they went 11-0. Then all of a sudden, which a lot of people were killing them because people were saying they had a cake schedule, like the first 11 games. Now, me personally, I'm in the minority of the camp where I don't think we should bash someone for having an easy year because that's not something they can control. You know what I mean? Like, they don't control who they go out and play. Like, if they were to control it, that's one thing. You know what I mean? If Mike Tomlin was out there talking about, we're going to play the Jags, and if he was doing that, then sure. But I'm not going to kill him. But even then, if you just watch Ben Roethlisberger, just the way he was throwing the ball, the misses he was doing, every time he was getting – and some of the sacks were, like, not even real sacks. There was just, like, someone was grabbing his leg, and he would slowly kind of, in essence, push himself to the floor, and he would still look like he was struggling to get up. You know, mentally, he knows the game, but physically, his body is letting him down. His body is starting to go. And that, unfortunately, once it gets to that point, that's when you need to go. Drew Brees had the same problem. He was like, shit, I can't throw the ball up the field. What the fuck am I doing here? Like, I'm not it no more. There were a few times where Drew Brees was getting hit, and he was getting up very slow. And at the end of the day, he was like, yo, ain't no point in me doing this. You know, mentally, I still got it. But in terms of physically, my body just can't keep up. And that's where Ben Roethlisberger is. And let's see what happens. Let's see if a team picks him up. Again, personally, I don't really care. Trey, this is a question for you. So, Trey, you wouldn't take Ben and start 11-0 next season?
No.
Which, I'll be honest, Trey.
That's not the same being. He's not the same being.
It's not, but with y'all running game, the caveat is will Ben Roethlisberger understand wherever you go, it's gonna have to be run first. That's kind of the caveat, right? Like
it's just not the same being. I wouldn't. It's no way. We're running back by committee, so if we happen to one of those 2 or 3 running backs goes down at the same time, and then now we're left to rely on Ben, Debo, and Ayuk and Kittle, and now we have the same thing in which Ben has already, in which he's not efficient with. So no, it's not the same. Ben, I ain't gonna say he's washed, but Ben isn't that quarterback anymore that you can even do that and get by. So I wouldn't want the 49ers to take a flyer on that, even if it's worth saving $25.5 million for the year. I wouldn't think it's worth it.
Well, I promise you in the offseason, we will recap. And when it happens, and here comes Spotlight. He's going to start crying up a storm like goddamn Fredward. Go ahead, Spotlight. Yell at me.
What is there to cry about?
Yell at me. You're gonna yell because listen, Trey yelled at me. Greg did his version of yelling at me. Freaking Coach yelled at me.
Hey, that's not true. That's not true.
Yes, you did. Coach, you yelled at me like I was one of your kids who fucked up on the drill. Goddammit.
I'm just gonna be like, Pride, where's the receipts at? Where's my receipts?
Look, all I'm saying.
Where's my receipts, man?
Hold on, Mr. CEO. Hold on. I got someone watching my back in the chat. Shout out to Mr. CEO. You are the CEO in my life. I'm telling y'all, it's a possibility. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, the 49ers.
Hey, Coach, don't go for it. Spotlight, don't go for it.
No.
Don't go for it, Coach. I'm telling you.
No, Spotlight. If I'm bugging, let me know. But be nice. Let me down easy. Okay? Let me down soft, all right? Because everyone here been killing me. I believe that if the Niners can't get Aaron Rodgers, if they can't get Russ, if they can't get Deshaun Watson, if they end up, missing out on all these guys, I believe Ben Roethlisberger will be their guy just for a year. They're gonna move on. I know it sounds wild.
I had to. You don't laughing at you. That's
like. See, this is what I mean. But you're not listening, Spotlight. You're not listening, Spotlight.
Hold up, Pride. Did you put Sasson in your Cheerios, bro? What is going on?
Oh, yeah. Look, this is all I'm saying. Let me explain something. Let me explain my reasoning. Trey, do not smirk.
This is the artist formerly known as Pride.
Right now, dog.
Artist formerly known as Pride. Pride doesn't go off the rails. It's an artist formerly known as Pride.
This is terrible. This is terrible.
Matter of fact, Pride, I gotta take your credentials. I gotta take your media credentials away from you. I gotta take them away. You're on suspension.
Look.
I am
Let
so
me explain
disappointed
what
in
I'm
you,
saying,
Pride.
Spotlight.
You're
Spotlight.
very logical, but I'm disappointed.
Listen, Spotlight. Let me explain. And when you hear where I'm coming from, you're gonna be like, you know what? Maybe, right? Look.
No, he's not.
They'll save over 25. Hold on, Jay. God damn it. All right. I've been taking some poo-poo from all y'all. All right. Probably gonna fling some back. Spotlight. They gonna save guap, right? It was like 25.5, right, Trey?
Yeah, 25.5.
Now, let me start saying this. I'm not saying they will be better. What I'm saying is they don't have faith in Jimmy Garoppolo. Coach, don't do that. Stop doing that. Look, they have no faith in Jimmy Garoppolo, right? So they're probably going to want to move him. And then on top of that, Trey Lance ain't ready. So I genuinely believe if they don't get anyone else, they'll settle for Ben Roethlisberger on a cheap contract to be a stopgap. Stop shaking your head. To be a stopgap to hold it down for 1 year. Spotlight, don't yell at me. Please don't yell at me. All right.
Are you out of your damn mind?
No, maybe. And I will say this. I do think it's a reach. I do think it's a reach.
However, where's your home? Where do you reside at right now?
Let me guess. 123 Kookie Avenue at Crazy Town, USA. Like, come on,
no, just
bro.
say your city. Just say your city and state. Just say your city and state.
I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm like 45 minutes away from. Is it Charlotte? Yeah, I'm like 45 minutes away from Charlotte.
They would be better.
This doesn't make any sense at all. If Ben Roethlisberger said this is going to be his last season playing football, that means he said this is last year in Pittsburgh.
So the Steelers, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Ben Roethlisberger.
I don't see Ben Roethlisberger in another jersey. I see him retiring at the end of the year. I don't see him playing another year.
He genuinely believes that somebody will give him a starting job.
It won't be the 49ers.
It damn well won't be the 49ers. They started out really slow with Garoppolo, but Garoppolo has been helping this team get back into the playoff hunt. So why would you go away from that? This guy recently was just in the Super Bowl with them. Save money. If that's the case, then just cut him and just play Trey Lance. Trey Lance is on a rookie contract. If that's the case,
he's not ready at all. Trey Lance is not ready.
I'd rather go with a not ready Trey Lance than I go with a fucking that's arm that's about to fall off the face of his fucking shoulder. Ben Roethlisberger.
I don't know, man. I'm
sorry. That's not making it. Ben Roethlisberger won't make that 49ers team better.
The most even ground in which I could foresee for this conversation is being picked up as a quarterback consultant and being hired to then that's it. He's not playing.
Ben is not a starter in this league no more.
I'm saying, right? Because I don't want. Listen, bro. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It is what it is.
I gotta pick up Drew Brees as a consultant before I pick up Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, and look. Trey Lance is for surely not, and that's the thing. Like he's not even ready.
Which I understand that, but why would you go with a person that can't throw the ball damn near 50 yards?
Because and the reason I'm thinking is they want to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, and B, if you think about it, it's a stopgap. I'm saying it'll be for 1 year. Maybe he can teach Trey Lance some things. I said Trey Young. He can teach Trey Lance some things. Maybe speed up his development a little bit, so that way the year after. You can start him. I'm not saying
I got a question for you.
Give him a 5-year deal or
anything. I got a question for you. When Matt Ryan, got drafted into the NFL, was he ready? He was under Kyle Shanahan, right? Was he an NFL ready quarterback? Be honest.
He was more ready than Trey, but I wouldn't say he was 100% ready.
You don't know if a quarterback is ready until you put him out there. You only see him in You only saw him in preseason.
Out there for some
Hear me out. Bro,
the kid was lost in college. Are you shitting me?
Hear me out. Mostly, you don't know who's ready until you actually put them out there with the starting team, not with third strings and fourth strings. That's not going to make a football team.
The best teacher's experience. The best teacher's experience. You got to get out there and just learn it. Look. Sometimes you can put a guy and you can have him sit there in purgatory for a while. He ain't learning nothing on the sideline.
I can't let you get away with
anything on the sideline.
I can't let you get away with that.
You can't let Trey Lance go or just sit and have a headset and a clipboard the whole time. He has the experience being out there. Why do you think Dak Prescott took over for Tony Romo? They threw him into the wolves, and look what happened with that.
Because of an injury. Because of an injury.
Yeah, but same thing for Tom Brady.
Same thing
for Tom Brady. What happened
because of an injury.
Injury. Yeah, same thing with Tom Brady. Injury.
So
what are you saying? Tom Brady was the worst quarterback coming out of that draft.
No debate.
Let's be real.
No debate. That's true.
Exactly. But they threw him into the wolves and gave him a shot. That's all we're saying with the 49ers.
I won't say that, you know what I'm saying? We do understand I fully understand that not everybody can you treat like Mac Jones or can you treat like Dak Prescott or anything like that. So we all know that won't happen, but I just think Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer.
I'll tarnish that.
Yeah, exactly. That part. Like, there's no reason that even in the case of what you're talking about, because I fully understand what you're saying, Pride. Like, use him to use Garoppolo, get some change for him, but he's just, in my opinion, for me, as a Niner faithful, I wouldn't use Ben Roethlisberger as the person to bridge the gap between Garoppolo leaving and the value, getting whatever we get back in value, and Trey Lance taking the helm. It's just not going to happen.
When it happens, I want my restitution. Michael, the question: Would Jacksonville have been better off trading down for Trey Lance and keeping Gardner Minshew to acquire more picks?
I like that.
I wouldn't mind that either.
I like that. I don't like Trevor Lawrence though. I'm not a believer. I said what? I'm not a believer in Trevor Lawrence. So I like the idea of getting more picks, taking a flyer on Trey Lance, and using Gardner Minshew right there because Gardner Minshew still has value. He's not a great bit.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it Urban Meyer there before they drafted Lawrence?
Yeah, Lawrence is Urban Meyer's
guy. They drafted him the same.
They came in the same deal. They came in the same deal.
Yeah, well, I'm saying
Urban Meyer drafted.
Yeah, Meyer drafted Trey Lawrence, right?
Yeah,
but
Trevor Lawrence.
After Urban Meyer got he got signed for the Jacksonville Jaguars back I think it was back in last summer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so it was
last summer, and then right in April, which was like 3 or 4 months later, they drafted Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, so I'm very sure that he was a catalyst of them picking Lawrence. So he got his guy. It's just a matter of making it work. So
making it work and getting them an offensive line and the defense and the special teams and the wide receivers and the tight end and the running back. The whole damn team needs a revamp.
Callahan got his guy. Meyer got his guy. So that's basically what it comes out to. So
and here's my thing. For me personally, I don't think the problem is Trevor Lawrence. I don't think so. I think the problem is Urban Meyer. Because it's the same Urban Meyer who saw James Robinson rush for over 1,000 yards, and then with his second pick, got a running back.
He got a Travis Etienne. He got a Travis Etienne that was with Trevor Lawrence in college.
I don't give a shit if he was with. I don't give a shit where this kid was. Is he better than James Robinson?
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know because he's hurt.
He got
hurt. We don't know. But if you look at Travis Etienne numbers coming out of Clemson, he was the best. That's catching running back coming out the draft.
Dude literally came out.
I'm not saying he is better, but we don't know. We just don't. You can't say somebody's better somebody if you don't know, if you've never seen them on a football field. You can't say who's better.
So you're willing to risk with the unknown rather than rock with the known.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is sometimes right now in today's NFL, you need a running back by committee. You need a running back by committee to win football games. And that's what Jacksonville does not have. That's why they went and got an ETN, because they don't have a backup running back that's better than ETN right now.
James Robinson.
Let's be real.
Nah, I found out, bro. It's crazy, bro. I learned.
Tell me the backup running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who is he?
Bro, I can't even tell you the story wide receiver because I don't give a fuck about Jacksonville if he gonna keep
That's
his
what,
stat.
but I'm just saying though. That's what I'm saying. That's why they went and got a running back because Urban Meyer wants to draft his players and run a system with those players, and ETN fits that system.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hi, Pride. I just wanted to throw something out there for everybody, and this isn't an Urban Myers thing. You know, me and Jay already had our little spiel about that. But I just want to talk about James Robinson really quick, and what that really is. Now, Travis Etienne, without a doubt, one of the best running backs to come out of that draft. James Robinson is 5'9" and was undrafted. And that's cool that you had a 1 year of being a great running back, but so did Jordan Howard with the Chicago Bears. And now he's absolute dog shit. So when you look at it from that perspective and understand that you don't have a single fucking player on that Jacksonville team last year to actually get the ball moving, you have to run the ball with James Robinson. It doesn't mean he's going to be the same guy he was this year. It just means that you had a shitty team the same way that Jordan Howard had a shitty team with a rookie Mitchell Trubisky and literally nothing else and John Fox. That's why Jordan Howard looked good. That's why James Robinson looks good. They're not good. They're not good running backs. He's not a dual threat. Travis Etienne could be in the slot if he fucking wants to. That's just how he is. He's a good running back. He has that chemistry. He's won a championship with Trevor. Whether you like Trevor or not, that's the fact of the matter is they've been together for 5 years now. I think it's perfectly fine to take that chance on Travis Etienne. I wanted him to get both of them. I know it sounds dumb, but I'd rather have it. Sure, you could say it's dumb as shit, but so starting a 5'9" running back who can't catch the football in today's day and age.
I like Etienne because Etienne is very versatile. He gives you a lot of
Etienne is the fucking second coming of fucking sliced bread. That's wild.
No,
bro. You're literally replacing
we're not
a dude who
saying
gave
that,
you
bro.
fucking no. You're replacing a dude who gave you production. Let that sink in. You're replacing.
Oh wait, no,
I don't care.
You're not.
I don't care.
They didn't win no games,
Hold on.
You're not replacing him.
I don't give a shit about any of that.
Now wait a minute. This is the same thing with Garoppolo with Big Ben.
Hold on, Pride. Let's be realistic when it comes to.
But let's be honest. Jimmy Garoppolo's not that guy, Jay. Come on. Jimmy Garoppolo, no, he's not that guy. No, come on, Jay.
Right now, come on, Pride. Let's be realistic now. You have a running back by committee in New England. That's how y'all successful with that run game. You have running backs by committee. That's what Jacksonville is trying to do with Washington and ETN. In this league, you just can't have one running back in this league just do everything. Right. You need a running back that can go downhill and go north and south, but then you need a running back that can catch the ball at the backfield and be elusive and go east-west. So you need that balance. All I'm saying is that Travis Etienne and James Watson would have been good together instead of them being separate. That's all we're saying.
But Pride, here's what I'm saying, and here's what I didn't get where you're coming from. You say, okay, but you had something with production last year. Gardner Minshew was relatively productive last year, but you still wanted to take a fucking quarterback, number one. So that doesn't really, help your case to that point. I know you were productive.
Gardner Minshew is actually good when he's played. The problem is he hasn't had the opportunity.
He's pretty solid.
Hold on.
But he's still not the future.
You're
so
not
that's why
gonna
you
sit there and all right. You know what? Y'all got it. That I don't know. To me, I don't know.
I'm just saying,
for me, with Gardner Minshew, you have what you have with Gardner Minshew. He's a solid dude. He really is, right? But he's kind of a bridge dude. He's not your franchise guy. He's not a guy who's gonna take you over the hump. That's not him. He's a solid dude who's a bridge guy who, if someone's hurt, he can fill in, or if you need someone to hold it down for a couple years while you go find your quarterback of the future. That's what Gardner Minshew is. That's what he is. I understand that he had a great game with Philly. I get that, but let's also stop acting like all of a sudden that means Gardner Minshew is a legitimate starter in the NFL.
Why are we saying that James Robinson is a legitimate starter? Why is James Robinson?
He just gave me over
1,000
yards season,
which is average.
Hold on. He still 1,000 yards. Hold on. Can we say this though? He gave him 1,000 yards with a Gardner Minshew. So what are we saying?
And that's fine. That's fine. At the end of the day, congratulations, Gardner Minshew handed him the ball. Now what the fuck did Gardner do after he gave him the ball? Stood there in the pocket while everyone was moving up, and he stood at the 20-yard line. Meanwhile, he just hit it like a 30-yard run.
You can see.
Nah, bro. I don't get it. I don't get it. Me personally, Robinson was your guy. I don't know. Why they got Travis Etienne. I don't get it.
And Robinson can still be the guy. That's the thing. Robinson could still be the guy. We're not saying that ETN is going to be a
Meanwhile,
starter.
Urban Meyer
We
was
just
literally
need a
trying to
running back by
replace
committee.
Urban Meyer was trying to replace him with ETN, bro.
No, but Pride, that's what I'm trying to tell you is, do you know how many reps he had last year? He had 240 carries, and he only had 1,000 yards. That's average, bro.
ETN is more like a Kevin Falk for the Patriots. That's the way I see them using ETN, just like a Kevin Falk for the Patriots.
They was using ETN like James White. They was use ETN like James White, more likely.
You can look at it as average per yard and all of that, and that's perfectly fine. But let me just say this: if I run the ball 3 times and each time I ran it for 20 yards, my average is fucking insane. But that doesn't mean I'm going to do that for the next 5 to 10 years. That's a small sample size.
Okay. That's fucking wild to me. That's wild how you're going to use that on a guy who literally played on the professional level. And you're going to say, oh, yeah, but this college kid.
But that's what the Patriots just did with Stevenson. They got him as a draft pick like this past year. If I'm not mistaken,
he was never going to start. He was never going to start. The only reason he's getting touches is because we got injuries and we traded Sonny Michel.
Pride.
Like, come on.
You still need a running back by committee, bro. You still need a running back by committee. Travis Etienne would have been the number 2 back and still would have got playing time. We're not saying he was going to be a starter. James Washington is the starter there, but Washington's going to need a breather, and you got a talent like Etienne that could come in and help out on 3rd downs. Come on, let's be realistic here, man.
Nah, you're right. No, you're right. You're right. No, you're right.
I swear to God, Pride, tell me you heard it. I've heard Darian call James Robinson 10 different names today. He said James White.
It's fine. It's fine. Listen, it's fine.
James White, James Mack.
Like Trey, Coach Greg. This is why I like waking up in the morning, because I learn shit from them. You know what I mean? Gardner Minshew is a top 5 quarterback in the league. I'm learning that today. James Robinson is dog shit.
We're not. Here we go.
Learning
We're not saying that.
Learning is great.
You're just listening to your own self in your head. You sound like Randy Orton right now. I hear voices in my head, because that's exactly what you feel like right now, Pride. You hear voices in your head. You're not actually
100%. I am hearing the voices in my head, and that's not because.
Listen, y'all trying to move on. Y'all done got Coach Dante over there yawning. You done got Greg.
Just because I'm yawning don't mean I'm tired.
Jay, hold up, Jay. That's not Coach Dante.
Time to go on to another topic.
When you see Coach Dante turn his head to the right, he's playing 2K on his YouTube channel. I'm playing that right now.
I'm not even playing 2K because I got the controllers on the charger. But yeah, I'm not tired. Bro. I'm not tired. I'm
snitching, dog.
He's trading for Harden.
I do be playing 2K though.
ASAP in the morning, he do be playing 2K.
I play a lot of Ramo Live.
ASAP in the morning, I'm telling
you.
you.
A lot of Ramo Live.
I play
a lot of 2K Ramo Live.
All right, but
yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth.
Again, I'm glad. I'm
no
glad.
mind.
And by the way, I also learned that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to make the Hall of Fame. Because he's honestly better all time per Trey. That he's all time better.
He's hearing voices in his head again.
That's gonna be your new intro.
What happened?
That's gonna be your new intro, Trey.
What happened now?
No, because
don't drink the Kool-Aid, Mike.
I'm not.
Please don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Hey, Porn Star Hall of Fame, he there.
No, I mean, no. I might still go there.
He there. My man got game.
So the Bulls, for the next 2 games, they ain't playing.
God damn it.
Everyone and their mom decided today is the day we want to get COVID. And now it's to the point where not just the players, now executives are supposedly getting it.
Well, damn.
Which is it's kind of wild. Yeah, like it's supposedly the legitimate concern the league has now is that, and this is real life, that they actually might have to quarantine anyone that has anything to do with the Bulls. Doesn't matter if you're the janitor. You could have been the guy who delivered something to them like a while ago. Their fear is that they got to quarantine literally everyone. And with it being for like a while, because again, they're not going to start the quarantine until they find everyone that's been in the facility. It is a legit fear that they're going to miss over they could potentially miss over a month of basketball, and if that were to happen, they're gonna give them L's for every game.
What the fuck?
That sucks, man.
And listen, now hold on. It's not official yet, but that is the fear that they're going on because
What
now
the
it's not just
fuck
the
is
players.
that?
It's starting to go up. And personally,
Fuck
I feel bad. I really do, because but again, it's
I got a question for that.
Go ahead,
This is going on with the Chicago Bulls. Do you think the NBA should go back to a bubble?
They should have been in a damn bubble.
They
That
might
shit never
have to
came
go
out.
back. They might have to
I
go back.
understand that you want the fans in the stands, but it's getting out of hand with these COVID-19 protocols.
You know what I would do?
That's
Nah, you
weird.
know what I would do? If you want to keep the fans, this is what I would do. Do what hockey does. Build like the pet plexiglass stuff, you know what I mean? Where it goes up, you know what I mean? That way the players, you know what I mean? Like it's all kind of domed off or whatever. That's what I would do.
Nah, but see,
I think you should do that before the people that's in.
But I don't think it's the fans that's the issue. It's it's obviously getting inside the clubhouse.
Right.
Which by the
regardless of
way,
whether you have fans there or not, it's not going to stop the
there's
players
a
from
rumor,
getting COVID.
and there's a rumor going around now. Again, whether or not this is true, I don't know.
Fuck that.
They believe the reason the Bulls got affected was they genuinely believe somebody, either within their organization or one of the games that they played right before
It was
this outbreak.
It was Charlotte.
fake
Hey, let me ask you this:
vaccination.
could they afford to take a 2-week hiatus, go into a quarantine, and then just go back in the bubble?
For everyone, look.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I would have been at that.
stoppage for the league. I get that, but then they could go into a bubble and finish it out without having to worry about
if they
COVID.
go back into a bubble, Kyrie Irving plays. That's just the reality of it.
That's true.
I mean, at that point, yeah. If we're gonna be honest, if they go back to a bubble, then yeah, no, he probably will come back because
Now,
you go in the bubble, then the shot
and
won't matter.
everyone else, they all end up coming back.
Right, like you know what I mean. If it goes like that, then a shot won't matter. He probably needs to do 2 weeks quarantine to make sure that he doesn't have nothing to the test or whatever. Then after that, I mean, he probably will be able to play. I don't see
Hey, about Kyrie Irving, is he having to give up money for every game that he misses? I mean, how
I don't believe so.
No, it's guaranteed.
So he's getting paid even though he's not
Yes.
playing. See, that's some bullshit. They should start finding these guys money for
Road
that.
games. He gets paid. He gets paid for the road games, not the home game.
So he gets paid for the road.
Yeah, just the road games.
100%.
Not home.
100%. But
Yeah.
For every game he misses, he should have to pay money. That would get him back on the court, or I guess maybe
No, I won't. No, I won't. Because look what they did with Ben Simmons.
going
Playing
broke
the
because
shit
of
out of
that.
him, and he was like, "I'd rather be broke." He said, Ben Simmons literally was like, "Hey, I'd rather be broke."
I'd rather be broke.
But when it
He making money. He making his money by playing Twitch. That's where he's making his money.
Yo, he getting cheddar too.
Listen.
That's the rumor going around that he's supposed to be making cheddar for that. But for the next, it's going to be very interesting to see how the league handles this. They might have to do a whole bubble scenario.
I'll beat the shit out of everybody.
But I mean, look, the legit fear that the league has is that they believe that it's somebody has a fake, they kind of faked it, which is weird because the league said they watched everyone do it.
Right. Here's
it's
what I'll say though.
it's
I'm
weird.
happy it low key happened now. Because like if it was just two guys, it is what it is. When Nikola Vucevic went down on the West Coast trip, y'all didn't hear a word from Mike Hughes bitching about nothing. Unlike someone who may or may not be the owner of this network, the ASAP network that is, who said LeBron James this, LeBron James that. I didn't cry about nothing. I'll say this though. Every single one of these guys have COVID. I don't think the Bulls have to worry about COVID for the rest of the year because they're going to relatively be immune to it for at least the rest of the season. So I'm kind of just happy it happened now rather than happen right before the playoffs and my heart gets crushed. If this shit happened in the first round of the playoffs, y'all would never hear from me ever again in my life. I promise you that.
Mike, you speak as if the Bulls have a shot at the championship. You speak like a man who has a shot at the championship.
Hey, Jay,
You're going to get crushed,
Jay,
Mike.
Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth right now. We're going to shock the motherfucking world.
Just believe
Hey,
it.
I would like to see that, honestly. I mean, my Rockets aren't in it, and if somebody can just beat the crap out of the Lakers lose, I'll be happy.
Oh, bro, don't talk to me.
Lakers,
Don't talk
listen,
to me,
I
bro.
said this before. Lakers getting bounced in the first round. So if we're talking about the playoffs,
Please
don't
don't say
disrespect
nothing
Trey.
about the Lakers. Please don't say nothing about the
That's-
Lakers because you're gonna
that's-
have
no,
Freddie
that's what I'm
pop up
saying.
like
I
a
don't-
goddamn pop
Look,
up
here's the
video.
question.
Absolutely
Here's the
not.
Man, don't get Freddie started on them damn
Here's the
Lakers. They
question I
had.
kinda wanna pose
Hey,
to
we'll just give them a hand clap for beating the Orlando Magic. We'll just do
There
that.
you go.
I just give them a hand clap.
Real quick, I want to
That's-
throw a question real quick.
that's
I want to
all.
go around and see how everyone feels about this. Do you believe, let's say something like this, because Mike brought up a very interesting point. Let's say something like this happens in the playoffs, right? Would it be fair? I'm gonna start with you, Trey, to kind of just say you got it. You got to do a 2-week quarantine. Oh wait, that basically takes up all the games you could have played. Is it fair to, in essence, kind of give whoever got it the L for the series just to keep the playoffs moving?
Are we talking like one person gets COVID or like the whole?
No. I'm talking about kind of like what's happening with the Bulls, where it's enough where you got
where it's literally just Lonzo Ball left.
Exactly right. When you literally have like we talk about how there's players who can play 1 through 5. Like you literally need to play 1 through 5 because you're the only person there. Like Trey, would it be fair for them to kind of just have to lose and so the playoffs can move on?
So no. So what I think you do is there's only 450 players in the NBA. You got the G League that has available players and stuff like that. So what you do is you create a system that you can call them players up, whether it's temporary, so the games can continue to go on. If that's the case, if you have most teams have 17-man roster. If you're not fully decimated like that, you should have a minimum amount of players in which you should be able to play with, and you go play next man up. That's what you're a professional. That's what you get paid for. It shouldn't have to affect the whole game if possible. If it's just about players, then you go ahead and play the players and then keep it pushing.
So basically, what you're saying, playing outside the bubble basically is going to give us a watered down, non-credible playoffs.
Yeah, because
it's what it is. It's what it is. Watch this. So you go in the playoffs. The Lakers. Okay, no, I'm not gonna say Lakers. I don't want Freddie to come on. But let's just say what team we Dallas Mavericks. I'm just gonna pick this. Just to pick a team. Dallas Mavericks come out. Luka Doncic gets COVID. Okay, there goes, and then bring somebody. That's a watered down Mavericks team. You might as well just go on and say that's a wash.
Okay, so
without having a bubble, no credibility.
Let me ask you something.
You might as well put stabs in there.
Let me ask you something. If that same Luka Doncic came out and tore his ACL,
that's a different story. Okay, that's a different story. That's a different story. I mean, there's nothing you can do to prevent that. You can prevent COVID. You can prevent.
What Pride's trying to say is the difference right now isn't just if Zach LaVine tears his ACL again, God forbid, tears his ACL again. You have a situation where everyone else on the team still knows each other. Right now, the guys who were going to play for the Bulls just met each other 2 fucking days ago.
Literally.
So it's unfair. It's really unfair to be.
They're not even probably going to be the best quality of guys you can be put on the court to begin with.
To keep the playoffs going, if you want to keep those ratings for the playoffs, you finish out the regular season in the stadium, and then you go to the playoff for a bubble. Right. Period. Just do it that way.
I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I like that.
Another thing, Greg. Let me start with you. And honestly, maybe it's just me. Isaiah Thomas, he's in the G League affiliate of the Denver Nuggets. I'm gonna say this with nothing but disrespect.
And that's okay.
Greg, explain this to me. Why should we give a fuck? Explain. And I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. Why should we care?
We should not.
Thank you.
Holy my God. Hold up, which Isaiah Thomas we talking about?
No.
Basketball player?
We talking about
you think 60-something-year-olds like you think Pistons Isaiah Thomas really trying to come back?
Oh, we're talking about Little Man.
Yeah, Little Man. Yeah, Little Man. Yeah. No, we should.
He talk shit.
No.
Thank you.
Don't care at all. Yeah. Yeah, he's not.
Trey looks so disappointed. Now explain to me, Trey. I want you to
great since he left. He hasn't been great since he left Boston. So I mean,
and dare I say, as a Boston Celtic fan, I don't even think he was that great. Because if I'm not mistaken, his last year, we almost lost to Chicago when we were the #1 seed. We
were up, bro.
And the only reason we didn't lose was because Rondo got hurt.
Yeah.
If Rondo does not get hurt, we're losing in probably 5 or 6, if we're going to be honest.
You was looking like 4, my boy.
And if you want to say 4, I ain't even mad at you. Because we was losing. Rondo went down, and all of a sudden the Bulls looked discombobulated, and I was like, yeah.
What happens when you trade?
Yeah, probably. So you say y'all would have got swept?
Yeah, probably. We were up 2-0.
I'm gonna say I don't think we would have gotten swept. I think we would have stole a game.
Would have swept your ass.
But honestly, but that's the thing. It's so close that like
y'all talking about the East Coast. Like the East Coast really mattered, man. Listen, it doesn't matter if you win. If they would have won, they would have won. It was going to the West anyway.
I'm pretty sure the West.
That's just semantics. That's semantics. That's all that is.
Jay, I'm pretty sure the East won that year.
That's semantics.
I'm just saying. I think didn't the Cavs win that year?
Is that the year they came back 3-1?
Wait a minute.
I think that's the year.
That might have been the 3-1 year.
That might have been the year that the Cavs came down.
What year was that?
For 3-1.
I think it was 2016.
2016.
Because I know D Wade
was
fired.
Then yeah, it was Cleveland.
Yeah, because D Wade was there. Look,
16.
let me ask you a quick question. Isaiah Thomas, that's your guy. You got one of his jerseys. You enjoy him. You like him a lot. Do you think that this quote comeback is just frankly a waste of time?
Happy somebody enjoys it.
So for Isaiah Thomas, probably not. Like I believe that Isaiah Thomas was an effective player. You gotta think he played 10 years, 18.1 career average. Like he wasn't a slouch. Like you know what I'm saying. And see, y'all fans, some Boston fans, is the reason why he felt slighted because when his sister was killed, he went ahead and played for y'all and felt slighted because he felt like y'all gave his ass to kiss. So it's like giving y'all ass to kiss. So.
Which I will say this. When his sister passed away, I genuinely believe they should have sent him home. And I might listen. I don't care about him as a player at this point.
I would have won that motherfucking series.
No. I'm just saying they should have sent him. They should have sent him home. I understand he wanted to play and all that stuff. I'm just talking about him as a human being.
Yeah,
I think they should have sent him home because the worst thing that happened for IT was that he tried to fight through his hip injury and he said this before. He felt obligated to play because he felt like his sister would have told him to play. And he felt obligated to fight through it. But me as an organization, knowing you got a bad hip.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Knowing that.
They chose business over the loyalty. Like we always talk about loyalty. What's loyalty in this?
Loyalty is over it. But I will say this again. Isaiah Thomas, I've
that
said
hip injury really jacked him up. That really hurt his career.
No, don't get it twisted. It did. And I'm not talking about right now he's dog shit. Let's just call it what it is, right? Like before, if you want to say when he was a 6 plug coming off the bench, that's fine. I understand that. But I will say this. When it comes to IT, matter of fact, Trey, go ahead. I don't want to be that guy. Go ahead, Trey.
So I don't think it's too far off. Like, I mean, you have to compartmentalize what you believe could come from this. Like, he could probably get back on the NBA roster and be an effective person off the bench. Like, but he's not a star that he was before. At this point, he's like a Rondo. Like he still can be effective in some way, form, or fashion. He just has to be fit with the right team. But he probably won't see another NBA roster unless it just is a complete debacle, or like we was talking about, COVID hits and they need the replacement players. He's a key candidate for that.
Right. Okay.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, man.
Yo, fuck Boston.
I just hate him. I really did. He ruined the Celtics. He did. I'm talking about him as strictly as a player. As a person, I don't know him.
You think he ruined the Celtics when y'all had Kyrie Irving and Kemba Walker with Isaiah
I'm
Thomas?
gonna tell you this right now. Kyrie was worse.
Kyrie
was worse. Kyrie Irving, but like I always say, a bucket of shit and a bucket of garbage, they both, like, the shit smells worse, but that don't mean the garbage don't stink.
Hell, Ray Allen did more damage to y'all Celtics than any of them did when he left them with Miami.
No way!
I don't know about that.
We did that
when he left and went to Miami.
Nope, I don't think so.
No, I
the
hear
reason
what
I
Trey's
say
saying.
no
Trey's
is
saying
because
he,
we
like
low-key
going to
fucked it
Miami,
up,
he
because
kinda
we
got shit
almost
on
sent
him.
him and Rondo to Phoenix for Amari Stoudemire. That's where we fucked it up. Like when we told this man, yeah, we about to trade you, and then we kept him, and then he's like, yo, I want to get a role, and then right before he left, we didn't even give him the fucking 6-man job because Avery Bradley was starting, so he lost the starting job. We went and signed Jason Terry, so he didn't have the 6-man job. So
I forgot about Jason Terry.
Over Ray Allen bad. We did him filthy because he's like, all right, so what am I supposed to do? You see that right there? Yeah, it's called the bench. Go sit on it. And it's like, what do you expect the man to do? Like, what do you expect him to do? This is why I say IT low-key messes up.
Mm-hmm.
As the number 1 seed, having Isaiah Thomas as our best player, we were one of the worst first seeds in the history of the NBA.
Hell yeah.
And honestly, the top 3 for me, I think it was it last year? I think it was last year's Utah Jazz, who I think they were the first seed. And I think that was a joke to me. I was like, they ain't doing shit, right? Then it was 2015? 2015, the Hawks, when they had Jeff Teague, Al Horford, and everyone was like, oh, yo, they a problem. And
they all went to the All-Star game, too. They all 5 of them went to the All-Star game, too.
Yeah. So, you feel me? So, it was them and then us. When we almost lost to the Bulls, and literally God himself said, the embarrassment is too much. I shall intervene. Like, that is by the grace of God, we did not lose. And I'm being serious. 100%. Isaiah Thomas, he could score, but couldn't do shit after that. And on top of that, yeah, it's not difficult to average 30, damn near 30, when your next options are what? Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder. Like these are your next 2 options. I'm gonna say that one more time. Those are your 2 options. It literally was, yo, IT, shoot the ball. Just go shoot. What if I miss? Just shoot. That's all you're gonna do anyway. Marcus Smart, everyone. Look at him. Okay? Y'all know defensively, you guys have a task. That's all it was. Okay? So, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of IT on the floor. I don't like him because he always cries. Like this dude told me when he went to Cleveland, talk about, yeah, I'm average 30 a game. What? Bro was shooting over 55% of the floor, and he wasn't even averaging 30. I'm like, you know how many shots you got to put up to average 30? He was like, yeah, nah, I'm going to be that guy. What? Like, it's kind of the same thing as, he reminds me a lot of what Kelly Oubre said recently. In Golden State, it's a lot of screens, and you can't be as good because, it's all through one guy. Someone remind Kelly Oubre he a role player at best. Can someone remind him?
He's definitely a role player at best.
At best. You know what I mean? And that was Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is a role player. Look, he had a couple great seasons in Boston statistically. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that's fine. But before that, he was a role player. And after really that, say it again, Mike.
Tell me how you really feel, Pride.
Listen, when we got him, I was with one of my boys who's a Celtics fan with me, right? He goes, yeah, we got IT. I'm like, don't do that.
Thank God the Sixers ain't go after him. Shit.
Don't do that. Don't do that, because I knew whoever got Isaiah Thomas, he was going to immediately want to be that guy, and all it was going to do was screw you over. I knew it wholeheartedly. I knew it, and I was just waiting, and I said it, and everyone was mad at me, and I'm like, look, it is what it is. Look, I don't give a shit about IT coming back, because look, I don't think he's going to play. I don't think so. And the reason I say that, even with all the stuff they're going through now, they still haven't signed him to the team. The Nuggets aren't putting him in the rotation. So with all the stuff they're through now, and they're still putting him in the G League? I don't know, Jay. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but I feel like that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, I don't know why would you go back to the G League when you've been in the league for years and years and years? I mean, what's the G League really going to do? Well, I mean, was that just like a little holding cell for you, like a practice squad?
That's what
Don't make no
the G League
sense.
is. It's a practice squad.
Yeah, it's like a practice squad. I mean,
It's practice squad getting paid. He's just taking it.
And on top of that, the practice squad, if the G League was like the practice squad, where other teams can sign you off of their practice squad, then maybe I would agree with the whole COVID thing. You know what I mean? But again, even with all the stuff that the Bulls were going through, they didn't even offer IT a 10-day contract.
I'm good.
They didn't even offer him a 10-day contract.
Let's go back to that whole COVID thing. I think if they were going to not have a bubble, they should allow you to have like damn near double the size of your roster limit,
Right.
In case you like what happened to the Bulls happens. Now you've got at least some experienced players who played together who actually are worth the damn rather than picking up some scrubs. I think they still let you double the roster limit.
And if you don't want to double it, fine. Just add like 5 more. You know what I mean? Like, you definitely do got to increase it because, not only that.
That's what pisses me off. The NBA had to know this was going to happen. They had to know there was going to be an outbreak.
They did. Listen, when you're talking about an outbreak type of situation with a pandemic, you're not telling me there's not a conversation that they had talking about what if a whole team gets it? There's no way you're not having that conversation.
Right.
I don't believe it. And the reason I don't believe it was because me, who I'm gonna be honest, I'm not smart. I'm not. Right. Swear to God, I'm dumb as shit. Ask Mike, I'm retarded. Okay, y'all heard my Big Ben take, right? So that just shows right there that mentally I'm not all there. Okay, so I only graduated high school due to attendance. My teachers hated me, and they were like, "If we pass this dumb fuck, we don't have to deal with him anymore." Only reason.
Damn.
But even I'm
Pride.
talking about that shit. Talking about, damn, but what if a whole team does? And if someone like me, who literally failed homeroom, because when they asked for my name, instead of saying here, I said there. If I'm talking about it, ain't no way the league themselves, when they're having these conversations, coach, there's no way that they themselves aren't talking about it. There's no way. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, the NBA slacking, bro. Adam Silver, get your shit together. And he was doing a great job.
The NBA should have had a plan for this already. I don't know.
They should have had
a plan.
Right.
And honestly, it's a simple fix.
Yeah.
Increase
the roster size.
Increase the roster size, or you should just be prepared for a bubble just in case
Yeah.
you find a location. You should have already a location in place just in case if this happens.
They're probably gonna go back to the the Disney spot.
And and the thing about it is, how many more variants you think are going to pop up? These variants keep popping up right and left. I think we're only at the tip of the iceberg.
Right. Shit, I'm at a point where it just turned Allegiant Stadium into a basketball gym. Fuck it. Raiders ain't doing shit with it.
I mean, fuck it.
Might as well, right?
Play them outdoors. Play them outdoors. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Act like this is 2K my part.
And I think that's a really interesting conversation too, with the whole thing being the entire team getting COVID. Is in the NFL, in the MLB, you really don't see them getting this because I think the fact that they're outside. I think that's the NHL and the NBA have been the ones taking the biggest hits. We really haven't seen any other team get it, outside of the Ravens, but that was really the stomach flu more than COVID. So.
Yep.
Well, the NFL, just according to Adam Schefter yesterday, it was 37 cases in one day,
right,
in the NFL for COVID.
Right, but it was never a team shutdown type scenario.
Right, and
Tennessee last year was the closest one to it.
Tennessee,
yeah, but if we're gonna be honest,
wasn't that last year before the vaccine came out?
Yeah, it was
before the vaccine came out.
Right, so I mean that's a totally different conversation.
Right. But I mean, Mike, real quick to your point, another thing that we've kind of haven't been talking about is the NHL. They've been getting fucked,
dude,
like,
horribly. And a big part of it is, and it's no shot because I love the country itself. I love the people within it. But I think traveling internationally with Canada
is
much
what does it.
Is such a big part of that.
That's what does it. And on top of that, not only that, but now some guys are gonna have to, make a decision because there's rumors that the NHL is gonna take a playbook out of who was it? I think it was the NFL. Was it the NFL or the NBA? That they were like, when you cross international, you gotta do a do like a 2-week quarantine or some shit like that.
Well, if that's the case, then what they're going to do with the Toronto Raptors, knowing that that's what
they're going to move them to Buffalo,
Canada as well.
They're going to have to move them to Buffalo.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to do the same exact thing that they did.
They're going to have to stay in the States.
They do the same thing that they did with the Toronto Blue Jays. They moved the Toronto Blue Jays into New York, around the Buffalo area, because that's all they could really do.
Well, we got to remember Toronto played in Tampa last year.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Tampa. I'm sorry, Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa. Which, I mean, look, for me, they're in this weird situation. But again, I do honestly think if they play outside, well, I mean, for hockey, it's going to be tough because of the ice. But
they're going to have to play. They're going to have to play in them colder states instead of those hot states.
Right. That's what they're gonna have to do, or just make their own. Or if I'm the NHL, that's who should honestly have a bubble. That's who should have a bubble if we're gonna be honest. You know what I mean? Like, because basketball, you can do that shit outside, and I think that's something that the league should, I'm not gonna say do, but honestly consider.
Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember what was it? What was the movie with Kyrie Irving?
Uncle Drew?
Uncle Drew. Do you remember where they were in the middle of New York City just hooping outside in that atmosphere with all the fans?
Yes.
If they could do something like that, that's raw as fuck to me. We really don't have to do something crazy, but I still think it'd be something dope like that in that kind of atmosphere.
Shit, play games in the Mecca at Rucker Park. Shit.
That's what I'm about to say, Rucker.
That's it.
You know how wavy that would be, bro? And have the fans like outside of the cake. Tell me that shit
like it used to be back in the day when the fans used to sit on top of the buildings and watch the damn game.
Yeah. And granted, I mean, obviously the league won't make that much money off of it, because it'll be a free game. But I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be fun. It'll be unique. And again, it'll bring street legends out to watch the game too. Exactly. So now you're kind of helping the game out. We also have to remember, like these dudes, a lot of them play at Rutgers a lot.
Yeah, they play at Rucker Park. They still play here during the summer.
Yeah, exactly. Like the off season, but Rucker is like way too popping. So I genuinely believe I think that's something they should consider.
Or you could go to what's the damn park in California with Venom Beach as well.
Yes,
you can come to Chicago in the middle of the hood.
Ain't nobody go to damn Chicago. Stop it.
Hell no.
Play in the hood.
We go to Cabrini Green. Let's go to Cabrini Green in Chicago. Yeah, there we go.
Actually, Jay, Cabrini Green's pretty nice now.
Yeah, it's been a while since I rolled through there. When I rolled through, it was about 1998, and I thought I was going to get lynched with the red light.
Get shot in the head. No,
dead ass Mike. Chicago's just like Philly, bro. You do not want to bring the NBA to North Philly. You just don't want to do it.
I want Ben Simmons to hoop in front of every Chicago dude. And
So we're going to end it on that note. This has been another episode of ASAP in the Morning.
Have his ass kill himself right on the court.
I'm learning a lot today. James Robinson's dog shit. Jimmy Garoppolo is the second coming of Jesus, and we want Ben Simmons to get killed.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie?
There's a see. Yeah, where's the lie? Where's the lie? Trey, you got any closing comments, my guy?
Yes, we just want to send a shout out to Shanahan on his 42nd birthday today. Happy birthday, my guy. Let's go, Niners.
What a simp. Man, just for that, I hope and pray you guys get Ben Roethlisberger and he completely stunts and destroys any potential that Trey Lance has. Greg, your final moments is going to be something like go Chiefs. So have at it, champ.
Yeah, go Chiefs. Big game this Thursday. Gonna wrap up the AFC West for the 5th straight year. I'm starting to lose count because there's so many. And also, the Los Angeles Lakers are still not the best team in Los Angeles. That's all. That is all.
Damn, Greg out
That
here
is
with
all.
the bangers. And Trey's like, you know what? It is what it is. And he got it.
That's saucy. That's saucy. It's so saucy.
Yo, Spotlight, what you got for me?
Hashtag free Derek Carr. Number one.
I'm glad you said the hashtag free James Robinson. No way, he's dog shit. Jay, I'll have
go Sixers.
Go Sixers.
Go Sixers.
Wow.
You know, we did beat the Warriors over the weekend. I can say that much.
Glad you guys did.
Yeah.
Go Sixers. He didn't get his record in Philadelphia. That's good too. Yeah, I'm happy to be on here while I'm working when really not doing any work. I'm paid to just look at cameras all day. Great for me. But yeah, man.
You know what would have been great for you?
The NBA, I'm telling you, NBA, make the bubble in Las Vegas. The bubble should be in Allegiant Stadium. Enough said.
I will say this, because you said, you're getting paid to just chill out, which would have been great for you. Would have been even greater is if, people like you respected Ben Simmons and he would have been with your team and maybe
nobody cared for Ben Simmons.
And you stay that until Ben Simmons does phenomenally somewhere else.
Ben Simmons can't step foot in NBA can't step. Ben Simmons can't step foot in Philadelphia, especially in the hood, because
why would you want to subject himself?
He would be dumbfounded. He can't step his foot nowhere in no city because he's just.
Would Ben Simmons want to step foot in a place like Philly, who does not properly appreciate what they have? You're cut off.
And
you're cut off.
Listen, I'm gonna let you know this now. If Mike, I'm telling you now, if Ben Simmons come to Chicago, they won't like him either.
I'll set that man on fire.
See? And y'all talking about Philly. And y'all talking about Philly. Chicago just as worse than us. Enough said.
We don't need that boy. We're good. We're chilling.
Jay, what do you got to say?
Hey, I just want to say, from a Houston perspective, the sun is shining brightly. Our rebuild is looking sexy. We are beating top teams like the Bulls, like the Atlanta Hawks last night. Our rebuild, our future is sexy right now. And I'm static. And y'all should be waiting. I'm telling you, 1 or 2 years, you watch out. Our boys are coming back.
1 or 2 years.
Talk that talk, Jay. Talk that talk.
It's coming. I'm telling you. It's coming. The second coming of the greatness is here.
When was the first one?
When Elijah won, and them took him out in the 94-95 season.
Oh, okay. Because I know you wasn't talking about them Harden days.
No, I'm not talking about the Harden days. I can't do that, man.
Yo, coach, go ahead.
Jay care less about them Harden days.
Hey, but if CP, I'm gonna say this: if CP3 doesn't go,
when we got hurt, we will be the 2017 world.
Hey,
we will be the 2017 NBA champions. And CP3 when we got hurt, we will.
Coming from someone who lost Derrick Rose at the age of 12,
that doesn't mean shit. But I want to get out there. I'm gonna talk to Coach Spotlight and Freddie about this. I notified Jay. I want to kind of throw a Rockets and Astros show up in. I might have to sacrifice probably the baseball podcast on Fridays if you don't. So I'm gonna get together with Coach and Freddie for that. But other than that, shout out to Coach Steven Silas. Rockets came back from 21 points down to beat Atlanta in Atlanta. Shout out to Coach Steven Silas. And I got a bold prediction and a bold take. Steven Silas is the man for the job for the Houston Rockets. How the Rockets able to recover after the trades that they made, and people said we were stupid. We didn't get enough for Victor Oladipo, which he was fucking dog shit when he even played with us. He had to pop about one good game with us. Glad we got him up out the door. Glad we got him up out of there. Karis LeVert, who couldn't stay healthy. People said that was terrible. We should have taken that. Now we got a bright future, bright head coach, young coaching staff, and this basketball team is good when you see these young 19-year-olds, 20 years old beating these contending teams that's in the playoff hunt, that's probably championship contenders. It's good when you see young guys do that, and that gives them young guys confidence to able to go out there and say, hey, we can play with anybody. We can play with any team in this league. And I got to give a shout out to Coach Steven Silas and these young guys with 2 starters out at that, with 2 of our young future backcourts out at that. So Coach Steven Silas, shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody on the panel. But Jay, I will get with you. I will get with Coach Spotlight.
Yo, Trey a hater, bro. He really is, yo. Like it's funny. These Rockets who have been rebuilding have more quality teams than the Lakers. So I just want to throw that out there. Yeah, I'm out here. I'm throwing shots. I'm throwing shots. You want a snicker, Trey? Snicker that, brother. Yeah,
it's okay. It's funny because we was just talking about Coach Silas, and that wasn't the rhetoric when we was talking about Coach Silas. But everyone reserves the right to change their mind. And like you said, we did say though that he probably wasn't the coach. Well, I said, let me keep it like that. I said that he probably wasn't the coach for the Houston Rockets, but he can be an effective coach probably somewhere else or in a different. In somewhere else outside of Houston as his first head coaching gig. But I mean, it remains to be seen. I'm not going to say that the Houston is a force to be reckoned with at this point, but
you don't have to say that. You don't have to say that.
Of course we not. Of course we not a force to be reckoned with. Of course we not.
Mike, I'll give you a few minutes. Go on your whole somber note on how the Bulls all of a sudden have the whole great place of Chicago no longer has a basketball team.
No, I'm good. We're chilling. We'll be back. Fuck Matt Nagy. That's all I got to say.
Free Matt Nagy.
No. Fuck Matt Nagy.
Hey, Mike, did he coach great the other night? Did Matt Nagy do a good job the other night?
Oh, yeah, great job. Hey, I just want to say really quick, Victor Bennett, I'm happy you know now. I'm just happy you know. This man, in the first half, talking all this shit. He's saying, the Bears putting up 27 points. Number one, 14 of those points were the special teams, and the other 6 were the kicker. But that's neither here nor there. Matt Nagy has no control of either. Now, let me say this. He goes, let's see how he does in the second half. I told him, watch. Listen to what he says at halftime, and then watch what happens.
I'm having fun.
Matthew Nagy goes on live TV and says, this is fun. I'm having fun. And then proceeds to only have 3 points in the entirety of the next 45
that was not Matt Nagy's
minutes.
fault. That was not Matt Nagy's fault. I'm going to tell you right now.
I don't give a fuck. I'm happy you had fun, Matt.
Coach,
get the fuck out.
Coach, you know what that tells me? You want to know what that loss of the Packers told me? It's not Matt Nagy's fault. This team is just so bad, and they will not pay attention to the phenomenal work that Matt Nagy does. Every time he tells them something, they just cannot handle the pressure of living under Matt Nagy, bro, and working under the genius that he is, and they choke. The players choke.
I hate it.
Free Matt Nagy.
I'm sorry to say, but I definitely disagree with that. I'm sorry. The play caller was conservative as fuck.
I was joking.
It was terrible.
James Robbins is 5'9".
We know we.
Fuck off, yo. Listen here, Mike. Don't you start with this, yo. Wait, hold on. The dude who returned the punt, he's like, what, 5'9" too?
Yeah, but he's a punt returner.
Yeah, so look his nuts, man. Us 5'9" guys, we put in work. We put in work, God damn it. You say you're 5'9"? So stop picking on free James Robinson. I'm ending it with that. It has been your boy Pride. Appreciate the chat, you guys being here. As always, it is fun. It is fun working with you illustrious men. And like I say, I always learn stuff. It's great to learn things, you know what I mean? Because if you're not always learning, what are you doing? And it's nice being here. James Robinson's dog shit. Matt Nagy is, the only fact I learned that the only thing I learned here that I already knew was Matt Nagy's dog shit.
Yep.
But obviously it has been your boy Pride on behalf of Spotlight, Trey, Greg, Mike, Jay, and Coach Dante. This has been ASAP in the morning. We'll be back here 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central. We'll see you on the next one. Be safe.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.